welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be learning how to contour, bronze, and highlight the face using cream and powdered products. If you guys have any questions or comments or concerns, please leave them in the comments down below. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe if you're not already. But yeah, without further ado, let's get right into the video. Bye guys. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be learning how to contour. Today I am going to be using a cream contour kit just because I feel that creams give more of a natural come off rather than powders. But yes, I'm going to be showing you how to cream contour along with setting it with powders. That way it doesn't budge throughout the day. Typically, if I'm going for a short amount of time to wear my makeup, I am going to just do cream contours and maybe slightly powder just to set it. But if you're going to be wearing your makeup for a long period of time, you definitely want to set it with powder. But I'm also going to be showing you how to set it with powder. That way it doesn't set cakey. But yeah, if you guys want to learn how to contour, then just please keep on watching. So today we are going to be using the Anastasia Beverly Hills Cream Contour Kit. I wasn't a big fan of this when I first got it because if you try to swatch it just left alone like that, it's not really that good. Like, I don't know if you guys can see this, but I mean, it's still a little wet. I did use it yesterday, but it is kind of drying. But what I do is I add drops, hydrating drops. So this is by City Color, and it's a primer oil. It's non-greasy, smooths and softens, and it has vitamin enriched. So yeah, it's a little messed up. I dropped it, and about almost the whole entire thing came out. I know that Essence, correct me if I'm wrong, but that brand they sell at Ulta, they also have one just like this. It's a smaller bottle though, but I also use it to put it into my dip pomade to make it more creamier again since it is drying out. But today I'm going to be using this one. So yeah, I usually just add 1 or 2 drops of this City Color primer oil into whatever shades I'm going to be using for the day, and it helps moisture up the cream product. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and get started now. So if you do know me, I like to have more of a dewy, glowing type of skin just because I am dry. I obviously always say that, but yes, if you're new to my channel, then you will learn that I have dry skin. So I want to prep it well before I start to go in with all these products. So I'm going to start by first spraying my face with some rose water coconut spray that I found at my local TJ Maxx. I think I'm starting to forget the price now, but I believe it was $7.99. But I'm going to go ahead and spray that on my face, just to hydrate it. Then I'm going to go ahead and let that sit just for a tiny bit, and I'm going to air it off. Afterwards, I'm going to go in with my Baby Skin Instant Pore Eraser. I really thankfully don't have big pores. If you do, you can use more of this, or also the, the Porefessional by Benefit is really great. I've heard, I have not used it, but I've heard great things about it. But I'm going to go ahead and use a little bit of this in my pore area just to close up my pores. So I'm going to go ahead and put some on the back of the side of my hand, and I'm going to use my finger and rub it into my pore area. So I went ahead and put some on my finger, and I'm going to put that on that area and just work it into the skin. I wish I could show you guys, but because I really don't have big pores, it's hard to see that my pores have disappeared. But yes, it does work. I won't be able to tell you if it works better than the Porefessional, unfortunately, but this does work, and this is a drugstore product. So now that I've filled in my pores, I'm going to go ahead and prep my skin. This is also from, I believe, the drugstore, but I found at my local Target. It's a Nivea's Men's Sensitive Post-Shave Balm. This has glycerin in it, so it does help your makeup stick. Okay, you could focus now. Go ahead and start priming my face with it. I'm going to just shake it onto my fingers and start rubbing it onto the skin. Also, side note, please make sure that your hands are washed before you do this because you don't want to be putting any type of bacteria onto your skin. Once you're done putting it on your skin, you're gonna start to feel it dry, and if you touch your face just a little bit, you feel it get like a little tacky. It's not really where you can notice it, like, but you'll feel a little bit of tackiness. Once you feel the tackiness kick in, that does mean that it's time to put your foundation on. So I'm gonna go ahead and take my Morphe Beauty Blender, which looks like this. And today I am going to be taking Maybelline Better Skin foundation. This runs for, I believe, $10.99 normally at any drugstore. I did find mine at TJ Maxx, thankfully in my shade as well. And I'm in the shade, let me see, 80, which is Rich Tan. And I found this for $3.99, guys. Like, that's a deal. And this foundation is amazing. It doesn't get cakey on my face. And it's drugstore, so yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and put some on the back of my Beauty Blender, and I'm going to start working that into the skin now. Because I am going for that very dewy look, I am going to be adding a little bit of my MAC, what is this? Strobing Cream Hydrate Luminix cream. And I'm going to be mixing that with a little bit of my foundation. So I went ahead and put this on. I would like to know why my voice is very scratchy right now. But anyways,
I'm going to be mixing that with my...
I did find this at Ulta, and it's just a sample size. It was only $10, and I really wanted to try it out. I feel like it adds a very, like a very glowy look to your face. Well, to your skin. I tried it on my hand, and I really liked the way it looked. So I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit on to my spatula. This is not my spatula. This is the little, you know what this is. One of these little things. I put some onto this, and now I'm going to be adding my foundation onto it. And I'm going to be taking one of my brushes and mixing it together. My Beauty Blender. And I'm going to go ahead and do my second layer now. I'm using it like I said, and I feel like it gives quite a glow. I don't know if it's because this is the second round of it, but you can definitely see quite a difference. Not too much, but can you see this? And then look at this. It looks more dry on this side. So I'm going to go ahead and do the second layer on this side as well. Okay, so now that my whole face is done, I feel like I see a difference. It doesn't look as drying. Like, I don't know. I actually like it. I wasn't gonna hype it up too much because obviously I had never used it, but it might just be my favorite go-to now that, you know, I'm looking at it and I'm digging it. And now we are going to be moving into the kit. So I'm going to go ahead and take these two shades at the bottom, which are the middle shades and the darkest shade. I'm going to be using the darker shade to contour and the middle shade to bronze and also contour. I can't really use the dark shade too much because it's a little too dark for my skin. So that's where this comes in and helps kind of just give it the right amount of color. I'm still thinking if I might use this for my concealer, but chances are I probably won't. And if I do, I'm still going to be adding it in with my normal concealer. Okay, so now I have my drops in my hand, and I'm going to be putting one drop into each pan. Wow, that was two. And that was two also. But anyways, it doesn't really matter, but I just like to put one because I don't want to make it too juicy. So yeah. Okay, so after we've put our drops into the pan, we're going to be taking a brush, and to be honest, the brush that I use with this kit is by Avon, and I believe it's still kind of on here. It's a foundation brush, but the bristles on this thing are like extremely soft. and I've just always used it to contour. I also wanted to add that if you don't have a cream contour kit, you do not need one. Another alternative you can use is a foundation that is darker than your skin color. You always want to go 1 to 2 shades darker. I went 2 shades as far as contouring, and yes, I do use this occasionally when I only want to contour my cheeks, because I'm not really a huge fan of contouring the entire face on a daily basis or very often, only if I'm going to big or special events. But yeah, this is the L'Oreal Infallible makeup, and this is in the shade Soft Stable 620. But I am not going to be using that today. I'm going to be using this kit and this brush, and I'm going to go ahead and start by dipping it into the darker shade and rubbing the oil around. And I'm going to start by putting it here on the upper part of my ear and working my way down on. You can feel the hollows of your cheeks, and if you go like this, you could kind of see where it leads to. At the end, you always want to go up. You never want to go down. You don't want to make your cheeks look saggy. You want to pick them up and look very luscious and bubbly. I know this looks extremely dark right now, but you want to trust me and trust the process. Also, you don't want to wait too long because you don't want the cream to start drying on your skin. So I am going to hurry just a little bit. Okay, so now that we're done with the cheek part, I am going to go in with a little bit of the dark one and just hit the top of my forehead area and my jawline. And what I mean a little bit is like you don't want to go as dark because you don't want to have like a mask type of thing going on with the darkness. So yeah. So you see how everything is not so dark? It kind of just gives you that shadow effect underneath your cheek, and the top, it just kind of brings back some color. I like to work it in just a little bit, so because it's a little bit of product, it will dry faster than my cheek area. I am going to be going in with my small Real Techniques beauty sponge, and I'm going to be working on the cheeks first since I did put that first. And when you do this, you want to push the product to start blending it out. And then you want to start pushing up. Like not really pushing, like, but you want to like dab and push. I don't know if you can see my motions. And we're going to go ahead and do the same to the other side. We're not done yet with this side, but I'll show you guys what to do. I just wanted to quickly kind of work the product in, that way it doesn't dry up. So now that most of the product is worked in, we're going to be moving on to the forehead and side temple area. And this, you do want to work back into your scalp because you don't want to bring your forehead in and much smaller. So with no additional product, whatever I already grasped off of my skin. I'm going to be working it onto the sides of my temples here. Okay, so now that we're done with the contouring part, my cheeks look pretty defined for right now. I know they look kind of patchy, but we're not done yet. So like I said, trust the process. So now we're going to be going into the kit again, and we're going to be going in with the middle bottom shade. And I'm going to be working the product in with the oil. And this is more of the bronzing part. So I'm going to go ahead and put that on now the temples of my forehead. You just want to draw 2 lines. Some people will do 3 based on the size of your forehead, but yeah, I only need 2. So, and then I'll slightly connect the middle here. And then you want to go ahead and do the same here. Today I am going to be contouring my nose. So with the bronzer, which is the shade I'm currently using, I'm going to use this brush, which is by Beautybybliss. And there's no number or anything, that's just what it is. That's the name of it. But this is what the brush looks like. And it's cut sideways. So it's going to really help me This is going to be helping me sharpen up my nose. So I'm going to go ahead and dip that into the cream and work that on the nose.
You always want to start from the brow area, and you want to push in and right against the side of the nose.
And you want to do the same to the other side. And you want to push the product down onto the face, not in towards the middle of the nose. Use the darker shade and just put that on the middle of my nose in this area to really tighten it up. And I'm going to be working that product also down. The dark and the light shade, and I'm going to be mixing it. That way I can do the round tip of my nose. So now that we are done with that, I'm going to be, well, not done, but that part. I'm going to be pushing the bronzer now onto the face using the exact same beauty sponge I had.
And this one you just want to push.
Okay, so now that my nose is completely done and I like it like this, we're going to go on to the highlighting process. And right now, I feel like I haven't had much sleep and my bags have been pretty bad. So we're going to be using the red one in the palette actually. I know I didn't mention that, but the red does help cancel out any darkness. So I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of oil into that one. And I'm going to be taking another brush, and this is just a no-named brush, and I'm going to be working that in and putting it on the bottom of my eyes. Putting that on the bottom of my eyes. I'm going to fix that, so I'll be right back. So now I'm going to be putting that pink on to the bottom of my eyes here. Okay, so now that I have done that, I'm going to be using the yellow shade of the palette now, and I'm going to be doing the exact same thing. This is a lot of product, I know. The pink part is optional. It does help cancel out any darkness, and then the yellow shade will be to add a pop of brightness, that way your eyes don't look dark. And the concealer, of course, is to cover up everything, and you're going to set it, and that's going to be the final product you are going to be using. So now I'm going to be using the yellow shade with a Morphe M335 brush, which just looks like this, and I'm going to be pushing it in and working the product into the same area here. Okay, so now that that part is done, we're going to be using our Morphe other beauty sponge, which looks like this, and I'm going to be using the tip and working the product into my skin now. Do you guys see that? Like, it looks great. Which is going to be the shape, the Tarte Shape Tape Concealer. I also mentioned in my other video that there is a dupe for it, which is the ColourPop Concealer, which is only $6 rather than, I believe, $24 that the Shape Tape costs for. Don't quote me on that. But yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and take my Shape Tape, which looks like this, which is in the shade medium, and I'm going to be putting that on my under eye area as well as the forehead area, the bridge of my nose, the very tip of my nose, a little bit here on my Cupid's bow, and a little bit as well on the chin area. So I also mentioned that I'm hormonal in the nose area. So with the product that I get off of my Cupid's bow, I'm going to work that into the nose, going up into the eye area. So for the forehead area, I've noticed that a lot of people seem to struggle as far as having like a lot of darkness and then a big white spot here. So what you want to do is when you work the product in here, you kind of want to push mostly in the middle. But then the remaining of it, you want to work a little bit onto the bronzing and contour area. And if you feel like that still might not work for you, your other option would be to grab them with your foundation and connect them together here. So now that we are all done with that, I went ahead and fixed a little bit of my nose off camera. I wear glasses typically, so I do have like a bump on this side from so much of the indent of my glasses, unfortunately. But yeah, I went ahead and finished the completed look. This is how it would turn out if you just left it with creams. Unfortunately, with a lot of my facial expressions, the cream does end up creasing into my lines, especially my smile lines. So I am going to be setting everything in the under eye. Regardless if you're wearing your makeup for a short amount of time or a long period of time, you do always want to set your under eyes. So I'm going to go ahead and take my Laura Mercier setting powder, and I'm going to be going in with the Beauty Blender again and just make sure that your creases are not setting. Once you're done with that, you're going to want to go ahead and put the Laura Mercier setting powder onto the bottom of your eye. I've put that under my eyes. I'm also going to be setting the forehead area because I do seem to crease here on the sides, which is where my wrinkle lines are. My nose is very oily, so I went ahead and did that. And now to really sharpen up the cheekbone area, I'm going to be taking this brush. So this brush is the KTB 163 brush, which is a defined flat brush like this. And I'm going to be taking the powder and dipping it in and making sure that the whole thing has product. And I'm going to be cutting the cheek area. So you want to push this powder in. You don't want to rub, nor do you ever want to rub powder. Okay, so now that my face is baking completely, I'm going to start taking it off by the order I did set it in. Now I'm going to be taking my Morphe M510 brush, which is this fluffy brush that I always use, and I'm going to start taking it off from the eye area. Okay, so now that I wiped off all of the powder, I'm going to be going in with the bronzer now to set the darker parts of the face. So I'm going to go ahead and be taking the e.l.f. palette today. Contour palette, and it looks just like this, which has 4 shades, which I only use the bottom 2, of course. And I'm actually only going to be using 1 shade from it today, which is this shade here, to set the bronzer on my face. I'll be taking the e.l.f. powder blurring brush, which I always use in all my tutorials, and I'm going to do that and tap off the excess and go ahead and start pushing onto the contoured areas. Okay, so now that we are done with the whole bronzing and contouring process, I'm going to be going in with the Wet n Wild blush brush and my blush by Tarte, which is in Party, and I'm going to go ahead and put that on the apples of my cheeks. Okay, so now that we're also done with the blush process, we're going to go into the highlighting process, which is typically how I would normally do it, except for since I did do my contouring on the nose, I'm going to show you guys a trick to really make the nose pop. So first off, I am going to be using the Nicole Guerrero Glow Kit with Anastasia, and I'm going to be taking 2 shades out of this palette, which is the Forever Young shade and the Glow Getter one. Those are my 2 favorite shades from this palette. I'm going to be taking my Morphe M310 fan brush, and I'm going to be dipping it into both of them, and I'm going to be putting it on the high points of my cheeks. As far as my Cupid's bow, I'm going to be taking this small Morphe M133 fan brush. This is extremely small and cute. This isn't, you don't have to buy this. This is optional. I'm pretty extra, so, and I don't like to use my fingers that much. The least I can use them, I will. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and mix the 2 shades again and put that onto the Cupid's bow of my face. Okay, so that does complete this look, and I hope you guys really enjoyed it. So to lastly just finish this off, I am going to be taking my Milani Make It Dewy 16-hour setting spray, and I'm going to be spraying that on my entire face. And of course, it would not be a look without putting on a lip. So I'm going to be using the NYX lip pencil in the shade Mauve, and I'm going to be taking the Tarte lip paint in, this is Birthday Suit, as well as the Morphe liquid lip in Virgin. And I'm going to be combining these 2 because I just like this combination. So I'm going to go ahead and do this off camera, and I'll be right back. So yeah, this completes this look. I hope you guys really enjoyed how to contour, bronze, and highlight. And until next time, I will see you guys on my channel. Bye guys!